Bond bundles, mini reviews, Google Siri, iTunes Match renewals, and the fuel ban sold by Apple. It's Thursday, November 1st, 2012, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of iWake. Today's show has a few things of interest. First up is James Bond. So, very odd that we now have James Bond bundles based on actors. So there are now 4 bundles available, and basically they left off Timothy Dalton as a bundle. They left off Lazenby as a bundle, as there's only one of those. It is kind of curious that there's 2 movies in the Craig bundle, but there isn't the Dalton one, even though there are 2 movies there. So just curious. But anyways, the bundles are okay in price. They're not nearly as good. Well, they're good, but they're not cheaper if you're going to buy all of them than the old price was. So the bundle is now priced, if you buy all the films, at $230. So how I get that figure. $30 are for the majority of the bundles, so and then you have one bundle at $20. So you have $110 worth in bundles. But something to note here is these bundles don't include all the films, right? They left off the Lazenby, the Dalton films. They also left out 5 of the films from both including Sean Connery films and Roger Moore films. So that brings the price up to $75 worth of HD films that you get, that you need to still buy, plus $45 of additional ones from Lazenby and Dalton. So that's $230 if you want to buy all the films in HD, versus the old price at $10 a pop at $210. So even though these bundles are out and it prices the HD films at $7.50, because you have to buy the extra films not included in the bundles, it's not that great of a deal as far as comparing it to the old pricing at $10 a piece. So that's something just to note there. Something I did notice as well is they reorganized the movie bundles in the iTunes store based on genre instead of price. And this is just another thing that I noticed. It's the second time 007 movies have broken the Tuesday trend for being a thing on the iTunes store. So normally at Tuesday we see big store updates. This was not the case. This was a Wednesday that we saw these bundles go up. Last time it was a Friday. So very odd with the timing of everything there. And finally, I noticed with the refund, Apple actually revokes your access to the films themselves, unlike with applications, which you retain access. So that's just something to note there. Let's move on. Outside the Bond, we have the iPad mini. The reviews are going in and going strong, and it's fun to see the great reviews that this iPad is getting. Something that Joshua Topolsky noted is it has stereo speakers. And he notes that Amazon needs to update, or I note that Amazon needs to update their page. And with that said, Amazon has stopped their mudslinging, right? They've discontinued that quote-unquote comparison of the iPad mini to the Kindle Fire HD. And perhaps it's because of the great reviews, perhaps because Amazon was using so much infactual information. I'm not sure what it was, but Amazon has stopped their mudslinging, and it is cool to note that the iPad mini does have stereo speakers. I'm curious how well those sound. The Verge notes that I actually had a little trouble holding onto the device when I wasn't using smart cover due to the back being something as smooth and thin as it was. And there's something endearing about the mini that makes you want to keep it on hand and use it often. They don't think that lower resolution is a deal breaker, but it is a compromise you'll have to be aware of. Battery life was not surprising. Everything Apple claimed it would be. I believe Engadget got 12 hours. The iPad mini hasn't wrapped up the cheapest tablet market by any stretch of the imagination, but is the best small tablet market. Consider it captured. So that's that. As far as iPad 4 reviews, those got basically reviews saying better, faster, lightning. It's a better tablet, but nothing too groundbreaking there. Next up today is some app news. First up is Sketch for Android. Got a noticeable update, a revamped UI, and better Evernote integration. So if you're on Android and you're a Sketch user, go out and update. In iOS news, we have a new update to Google's voice search app that includes Siri-like functionality. So this is a pretty cool app for those, especially that don't have Siri. So an example here is, what does Yankee Stadium look like? Google will show you hundreds of pictures instantly. Play me a trailer of an upcoming James Bond movie. The trailer starts playing immediately within Google search. When does daylight savings time end? The answer will appear above the search results. Basically it basically tries to emulate Siri in many ways through search and things like that. It won't do everything Siri does, as it doesn't integrate with other apps as Siri does, but does some cool things. Next up, HD music. So evidently, this is not completely verified, but a sound engineer has told the Cult of Mac, once again, grain of salt, but that Apple is accepting high-resolution music for iTunes. So this would currently go beyond what iTunes Mastered does. So iTunes Mastered takes advantage of 256 kilobit AACs and optimizes it for their platform. Hypothetically, this would enable Apple to start selling uncompressed audio, perhaps, and that sounds phenomenal. And HD music, as people are calling it, it'll just be a question of when or if this will actually come to pass. Next up is I just want to mention the X-Men sequel. X-Men sequel, The First Class, has a director now, Bryan Singer, who directed both X-Men and X-Men 2 United. Also produced X-Men First Class, will be the director of X-Men Days of Future Past, coming out, I think, in a year or two. So exciting news there. I'm a big X-Men film fan, and that's cool to see him back at it. Next up, and closing out the show, we got two more stories. First up, iTunes Match. Renewal times are coming soon for a lot of early adopters. Here's an email that Apple sent out to one of their customers. Dear so-and-so, keep all your music in the cloud and listen to it anytime, anywhere. Continue to enjoy your entire music collection in iCloud on your iOS devices, iTunes, Apple TV. iTunes Match stores not only your songs purchased on the iTunes Store, but all the other great music you have acquired over the years, including music from CDs. So just a reminder that your subscription for iTunes Match will renew automatically on November 14th, 2012. You'll be charged $25 at a time. To view your subscription or change your auto-renewal settings, sign into iTunes on your computer and go to your account information page. Regards, the iTunes Store. So there you go. That is a note from the iTunes Store. And last of the day, I just want to make mention that the Nike Fuel Band is now being sold at the Apple Store, both online and at physical brick-and-mortar stores. So go out and get your Fuel Band from Apple if you so desire. That's what's going on in the Apple world today. Once again, you can find the show notes at iWakePodcast.com. I also do YouTube videos, youtube.com/TCHATEN. And finally, iWake Again, available at iWakePodcast.com/again, is the paid version of this podcast. I recently did a 50-minute discussion with Alex Barker about this whole Star Wars things and Argo as well. So that is now up, and you can sign up today, iWakePodcast.com/again, for all of the details there, and a great way to support this show financially. Thanks for listening or watching. I'll talk to everyone again tomorrow. Have a great day. Aloha.